All right, my first name is Asadiq, Assaddique. My last name is Abdul Rahman, Abdul hyphen Rahman. People call me Muhammad because they are unable to pronounce all of that. So it just stuck. It just stuck. In 2009, maybe about in September of 2009, I woke up in the graveyard next to Hollywood Cemetery, called Mount Calvary. I woke up, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't know I had gotten there. And I got up and I walked out of the graveyard. I checked my pockets. I had been in a motel, and the ticket was dated for 3 days prior to that, the 3rd. And the motel over there on Sherwood called the Red Roof or the Red Carpet Inn. And I knew that was a hole, and I just couldn't remember where I was, how I had got to the motel, how I had gotten to the graveyard. And I wouldn't call it rock bottom. I just was at a point where I just couldn't do it anymore. The drinking, the homelessness, the running the street, my life was just crazy. So I went to the healing place over in South Richmond on Dinwiddie Avenue, and I checked into their detox program. But this was different than other times where I tried to stop drinking and get my life together, because I had given up this time. I just didn't have any answers. And I got serious about recovery. After detoxing, I still was faced with homelessness, so I went and stayed with a friend of mine named Todd, who was living in a rooming house in Delaware, on Delaware Avenue, here also in Richmond. And we stayed there, and we struggled and put things together. And on Saturdays, Todd had been going on a Saturday to supplement his income, going to the free market at North Minister Church over, I believe it's Mallside Avenue in Richmond. And he asked me to go and get an extra bag that supplement the food in the house and to help supplement the food stamps he was getting. So I went to get an extra bag, and I met Cassie. And Cassie and I hit it off right from the beginning. And then Christmas came, and Cassie and Rhonda and JT and some other people from North Minister Church and New Hanover Church came, and they stood on our front porch of the rooming house, and they sang. And then they came inside, and Cassie noticed that we didn't have a couch. We didn't have, in the common living area, we didn't have one. Next week, Cassie came and she brought us
First you made us sing Silent Night.
Yes, yeah, I remember, yeah. You asked for a request, and I said Silent Night, and they sang Silent Night. Yeah, you remember. And so, anyway, to fast forward, Cassie brought us a couch, and we put the couch in the rooming house, and that's a whole nother story. But Cassie took me to the library in the West End of Richmond on Belmont, and she showed me how to get on Craigslist and how to use sites like Snag-a-Job, and there was another site that I can't remember. But she said that she asked us, could we come up with enough to cover a rent for a certain amount plus utilities. Well, certainly we had the rent. We was giving that and some more to the rooming house. But I could I could scramble and come up with the money for the utilities. Meanwhile, on a bus ride from downtown, a lady was talking, and she said, Well, they're getting ready. I've got to build a ramp for my husband. She lived on Missouri Avenue, right around the corner from us. She said, I got to build a ramp for my husband. And I said, and she said that they're going to charge me $1,500 to build this ramp. And I said, pardon me, ma'am, I don't mean to intervene on your story, but I'll build that ramp for $300 if you get the supplies there. And she said, no, you won't. I said, yes, I will. She said, for real? And so we made a deal, and I built the ramp. And with the money we got for the ramp, for me building the ramp, and the money that we scrambled up, we had enough. And Cassie showed us the house. She had showed us the house. We had agreed, we really wanted that house. Todd was like this, that, and the other, but I saw what was there. Not what was there, but I saw what could be. I saw what could be. I saw, after a little this and a little that and a little love, what could be done with it. And so we got together and we moved in, and Cassie said this should not be a place to stay. It should be a home. And I endeavored to make that house a home. And people from Cassie's Church, New Hanover, and Rhonda's Church, North Minister, they brought things over that we may need, like a refrigerator, washer and dryer, and clothes, and not clothes, practical things that you would live in the house. But we brought that couch with us that Cassie had. We didn't leave that in the room in the house. We brought that with us. And my mom gave us some things from my stepfather's apartment, and they came and they folded and they helped us move stuff in and organize the house, and it was a beautiful home. And with the love of Cassie and JT's help, we brought everything up to grade. About the time that I met Cassie, back in September, and the date of my sobriety is September 6, 2009. And I met her, so that means I wouldn't have met Cassie around about the beginning of October or the end of November, or the beginning of October or the end of September. My father, who lived in South Richmond, had another stroke. And this one debilitated him. And my stepmother did not want to continue to take care of him. And I was visiting my father as he was in his nursing home. And he gave me, he asked me to do two things for him, and one of them was to get him out of the nursing home. So when I looked at this house, I made my mind up. I walked around, and in the proud Southern tradition, I saw a bedroom for my father in the dining room. And so I made a place there in the dining room for my father, and I was able to get him out of the nursing home and take care of him. And he didn't die in a nursing home. He died with people who loved him in a home that was provided for us through Hum Ministries, New Hanover Church, North Minister, and the love of those people in that church. And after my father died, we had a funeral and a repast there. And this is where I want to make a special mention for a man and his wife named Johnny Davis. I think they are members of Cassie's church, but he came and prayed for my father at that in the morning before we went to the funeral. He came and everybody joined hands, and he led us in a very emotional prayer. And we all got in the cars and went to the funeral, because the funeral left from that house. So my father had a decent. He died with dignity because of that house. And he died with people who loved him, and he was around him. And then at his funeral, Cassie came and Rhonda came. I felt so loved, and I will never forget that, because I was distraught. I just couldn't, and a lot of hurt came out of me that was in me because of that. We have managed, with love and guidance of the people around us, to come together and the best of our personal attributes were put into that house to make it a beautiful, shining star on a hill. I love that house. I love that home. It's the first real home I've had since I was a child.